struggled with trying to accurately assess the intelligence of the people that I'm hiring. And I think the logic part of what we do is very important, where it's like what we're doing, where it's like, okay, if this is not the case, if this website is not ranking, then maybe there's not enough backlinks. Just that kind of like problem solving thing. That's a skill set that comes up a lot in this. It's like, it's an analytical, got to be able to look at something, find the problem, and then come up with a solution. So when we're hiring people, especially when we're hiring for that kind of like valuable manager type position to take care of our things, that's something that they need. Now, with the way that I recommend hiring, whether it be through like Upwork or onlinejobs.ph, you have your hundreds of people to choose from, if not thousands, that can apply to these jobs. So you essentially have the pick of the litter. This is a skill set that I think is important. And this tool right here is something that you could easily put someone into this. So there's a logic one. There's all these different courses. I think this thing's like $100 for a year. I'm kind of like a nerd where I love to just keep learning random things. So I was doing it to try to like, I just want to be better at math. And I think I can apply it to my business in different ways. So logic is one of the first ones that you go through. And then, so there's like one here, truth seeking. We'll just give you an idea of some of the questions that are in here, right? So basically they're going to give you some kind of logic question. And what I'm going to do in my future interviews, and I've got jobs posted right now for a position, is I'm going to do this interview with them. I'm probably going to ask them several questions within the job application, and I'm going to choose the ones that I like the best. The ones that I like the best, we're going to are probably going to interview with one of my managers first, and then they're going to interview with me. Somewhere along that way, they're going to have to go here, and I'm going to give them some questions. This one might be, I think this is like one of the warm-up ones. So some of these start to get a little bit more challenging, right? Like this one, for instance. So give them this, have them work through it while you're on the call with them. Yeah, it might be stressful for them. It might be hard for them to solve some of this stuff. But when you kind of weed out some of these people that you can hear them working through this problem, right? Some of them, maybe they're going to just like freak. This is untested. I haven't tried this yet. I just think it's a brilliant idea. This is what I'm going to do. And I wish I would have thought to do this years ago, because I've been looking for things like this. Where it's like, man, this person had like a good interview. I asked them about their history. I asked them like these questions, and then like we get into it, and like it's clear that they're not using like basic logic to make decisions. And then I'm like frustrated with the hire, and it's like you can't go backwards. So like I know that when I was interviewing for a software engineer position with Facebook, they were asking me technical questions. They were asking me hard questions, right? So this right here is an equivalent for us. It's simple. Anybody can do this, right? It's not something that's like tied to a language, right? They don't need to know that. Like you tell them like knaves is not a real word. Don't let them get tripped up on that, right? So give them maybe 4 or 5 of these questions. These are all over the internet. You don't need to have a subscription to this. I recommend it because I think it's super cheap, and I think you get like a 2-week free thing. But you could also just like Google like, hey, logic problems. And then I'm sure you could find hundreds of things like this. But I think put them through the ringer a little bit before you decide to bring them onto your team. Because what I found is it's a lot easier to make a good hire than it is to fire somebody. Especially when you start to like, if you're like me, where you like love these people, it's hard to like take away their income from them. And you know, maybe like maybe it means a lot to them, and it's like it just puts you in a tough situation. Spend a little bit more time, just like I'm saying, spend a little bit more time on the due diligence up front in your niches. Spend a little bit more time just kind of like making sure that you choose the right person. So Lawrence, I know that you just hired some people, and obviously like we hadn't talked about this, so you wouldn't know to do this. And it sounds like your people are content writers. So, you know, this isn't something that I would necessarily put a content writer through. But, you know, maybe if it's a backlinker, I would put them through this test, because I want to see where they are like on an intellectual level. Because when I'm trying to teach them backlinking, if they understand this and they can, like, they're going to get it faster.